Jumping Jehoshaphat's. Oh my goodness gracious, the stuff in this store. They didn't have a lot of art stuff. It was one of the smaller art sections and craft sections that I've seen in an Ollie's, but oh my gosh, what they lacked in quantity, they so made up for in quality. Second best resin mold I have seen in any Ollie's. This is the first time I've seen anything for candle making. So much paper. Wow. A Tampa store. This is another Tampa store. And it's within like 10 miles of the first one that I showed on Sunday. And this has silver on it, and it's just stars. It's cardstock. They had so much paper. It was all so beautiful. Some of it was cardstock weight, some of it was paper weight, but it was all absolutely gorgeous. Look at this stone wall. Look at that, a stone wall, and look at this beautiful plaid and those beautiful stripes, and all of these papers were just amazing. They must have had 15 or 20 different styles of paper in this store, and I just could not believe the amount of paper that this store had. We, of course, are on the dollar table. Most of these sheets of paper that I saw were a quarter. I think they were all a quarter, but I'm not absolutely positive. That was just plain white cardstock. And look, there's mini. And don't worry, there's lots of minis. There was this one mini sitting on this side of the table, but on the other table, on the other side of the table, there's like 4 more boxes of mini cardstock. So if you're into Minnie Mouse, there you are. And these beautiful tags with that beautiful little blue chevron on the back of them. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I didn't get a really good picture of the back of the chevrons on that one, but my live stream tomorrow, well, later today, since I'm recording this at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nope, sorry. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, my live stream on Wednesday, I will be showing the back side of that so you can get a better look at the one with the tags on it, because I did buy some of those. And speaking of my live stream on Wednesday, in my YouTube posts, I have a vote where you can decide whether or not you want to see the live stream at 4 different times, and I can't off the top of my head remember what the times are, but right now 6:30 p.m. Eastern or 3:30 p.m. LA is the one that's winning. I will put a link to the vote in the description for this video, and you can see it. This is so neat. This paper, those little dots, they're fuzzy. They're little teeny tiny fuzzy dots. I don't know if it was Brazil or not, but it would not surprise me if that was Brazil paper, because it was high quality, and it was one of the neatest cardstocks I've ever seen. I've never seen cardstock with fuzzy dots on it before. And it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. These baby ones have onesies on the other side, but I didn't get a very good shot of the back of those. And this right here is embossed. All those little circles are actually raised bumps on the paper. It was so neat to see something that was already pre-embossed like that. I think that's only the second time that I have found embossed cardstock in an Ollie's before. This right here would be beautiful for a memory book for a kid, or for a wish book, for a vision board, for a wedding, or anything like that. That paper was absolutely gorgeous. Maybe even just memories of a trip to one particular theme park. These hello ones, they were nice. You could cut out so many of those hello strips and just make them into borders around cards or anything like that. So beautiful. And look, there's all the minis. I told you there would be plenty of Minnie Mouse, so you can just love the Minnie Mouse ones, because there's a whole box of them. Actually, I think there were like 4 boxes of them. Just so much paper. I could not get over the amount of paper that this store had. This store, you had to really hunt for where the craft supplies were. They weren't all in one nice area like they usually are in the other stores. We spent some time hunting down some of the craft supplies in this store, but we're so glad that we did, because there is some really, like I said, quality stuff in this store. And these are so cute. Those are paper clips, but they're butterflies. You get 4 of them for $1, a quarter a piece, which is kind of expensive for paper clips, and there's the G's, but still just absolutely the cutest thing for those little butterfly paper clips. And these are those things where you put the little crystals in them and bake them, like the owl and the octopus that we've seen before, but this is actually to make jewelry. That is so cool. And I came across 2 or 3 stores in the Tampa area that had these girl power things. This is a set of buttons, but one of the stores had mini cards that were the same idea, and oh my gosh, this is 616 different pieces. It's a Project Life just starter pack, massive quantity of starter pack. It's got so many different things in it. It's got you can look at the front and you can see everything that's on there, and yes, it rang up for $1. I'm not kidding. Amazing. I don't remember how many they had when I left. I bought one, but I don't remember how many were still there when I left. And I'm going to go open that in the live stream on Wednesday so you can see all of the stuff that's inside that. Just amazing. These were so cute. I haven't seen that set before. I totally did a Homer Simpson impression when I saw the donuts, I have to admit. And these are the Heidi Swap pockets that you can put into a journal if you've got the journal binding clips, and those were really nice. But at the other store that I found them, they were a quarter. At this store, they were $1 a piece. But still, that's an incredible price for a name brand Heidi Swap item to put into a journal. Just absolutely gorgeous. I was so impressed, not by the quantity of stuff in this store, but by the quality of the items in this store. And look at these beautiful copper hammered rivets. They're sticky things that look like little rivets like you would have if you put hammered an old nail into something. Beautiful. And there were like 106 pieces in there, so that's less than a penny a piece. Tons of wedding things. If you make wedding cards and you use things like that, this would be a great place to get them. And then this is for the mink. And these are pre-die cut words that you can just run through your mink laminator, and you can have the mink laminator make them foiled with whatever color foil you put through there. And I thought that was really cool. You get 5 of them for $1 and they're already ready to go. Beautiful little pink letters, and this set of stickers. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Look at the beautiful colors. Still not my color scheme. I'm totally a fall girl, but look at how beautiful these are. You get 5 different pages of stickers, and look at those beautiful alphabets with the flowers on them. So pretty. So absolutely pretty and gorgeous. And this confuses me. It says there's 6 ounces of liquid in it. I finally actually read the box. It's supposed to be 6 ounces of liquids in here. 3 different dyes, 6 total ounces of liquid, nothing. It's like those little marker boxes that have nothing in it. And if these were numbers, I would have bought every one that they had, because this is silver with a slight little pink outline, and they were so gorgeous, but I don't use foam letters. I use numbers, and so I didn't buy any of those. There wasn't a whole lot of vinyl in the store, but here it is. Here's the candle making item. This is dye to color your candles. This is so cool. I mean, I've never seen a candle making product in any of these Ollies. And here it is. It is a resin mold for cuff bracelets, and they were $1.49 per mold. You buy 10 of these for $15. You set them up in a big line, and you have got a manufacturing mecca for making cuff bracelets out of resin to sell at any sort of craft fair. It was so cool. They were $1.49, not $1, but still, that's a great price for a resin mold. They had the jute cord for $7 for 100 feet of it, and that is the 1.2 centimeter jute cord. This is 100 feet of aisle runner. 100 feet! I mean, I would have bought this for craft making if it weren't so long, because the card making aspect of that, it's thin, so you could cut it out and use it for dimension in your card and use it for interest and texture and card making, but it's 100 feet of it. I'm never going to use 100 feet of it. But man, that was a great price for that. I mean, this is only the second store that I've ever even seen that yard runner or that aisle runner in. More paper for junk journaling. This is a great spot that you can get different various papers to put into your junk journals, sew them into pockets, make them into different textures and different colors in your junk journal, rip them so that there is some variety to it. So pretty. And this is a meal planner by Ree Drummond from The Pioneer Woman. I thought that was an interesting idea. And then there's this cute little planner here for 2026. Such a cute little thing. But look at this. Here we are. We're back at the red cricket foil. The obligatory red cricket foil. Have to have it. Every store just seems to have that red cricket foil. This is about all the vinyl that they had in the entire store. They did have this Park Lane memory book, and this is one that we've seen in several stores, but they had several of them in this store. I don't know why I didn't get a picture of the whole shelf of them, but there were several of them in here. Just a few sewing notions, not a whole lot of sewing notions in this store, but they had these Color Magic pouring colors. And oddly enough, for a store that doesn't have a huge quantity of art supplies, they had multiple colors of these pouring colors. And I think they were $1.49 each bottle, but there's like 4 different colors. And they had black and white, which are 2 colors that get used an awful lot in art and in all forms of art. And they had those 2 colors in the same store, so you didn't even have to search for them if you do pouring medium. Down here, this looked like shiny cardstock that came out of one of those Astro Designs packets. I don't think it was supposed to be demonstrated like that. And then these are the half poster size sheet of gold foil, but the box said it was $2.99, and they weren't in packages of 12 like they usually are for $2.99. So I don't know how much those were individually. This is such a cool coloring book, and I would say that this one is somewhere between beginner and intermediate. maybe even closer to the intermediate side. Like this would be a really good adult coloring book, or even a kid coloring book who's, you know, progressing through their coloring ability, and they want something that's a little more difficult, but not really not in the professional level. So I thought that was a really cool one. And it was sloths. Who doesn't like sloths? Well, I'm sure there are people out there that don't, but I love sloths. This is a great buy. This is $2 for 3 rolls of wire-edged ribbon that's about 2.5 inches wide. Incredible price. If you're a wreath maker or a bow maker, that is an incredible price for wire-edged ribbon. And this was the only color Bernat that they had, but they had a lot of them. $5 a skein. Skein? Did I say it right? Somebody corrected me on how it's supposed to be pronounced, and I think it's skein, but I can't remember now. Now that it's coming out of my mouth, I'm not sure. Maybe it's skein. I don't remember. Skein. I think it's skein. Okay, we're going to go with skein. Sorry to the person who reminded me of how it's supposed to be pronounced. I totally forgot. Look, I found a unicorn. Actually, I think that's the second time I showed it, but I think they're really cute. And then we move on to these little double-ended pens. I do have a set of those that I'm going to test at some point in time. They were $3 for the scissors in this store as well. $2 for the little picks that have the happy birthday written out on it, which is just very cute. I love the colors of them. And this little sewing set, I believe, was $6. Is that right? Nope, $5. And it's a nice little sewing kit, but later I found the Singer scissors, and it took us a while to find them. This, oh my gosh! Look at all the cookie cutters you get in it. You get all the letters, all the numbers, and several shapes. This is like every one of these cookie cutters put together, and wow, look at that, $6. $6 for 80 cookie colors. That is a one-stop shop for every cookie cutter you're ever going to need, probably, for any sort of household cooking that you do, save the fact that there really aren't any Christmas ones in there. This was odd because this is a whole end cap of Bibles, and on it there was this one little hiding spot back in the corner of these mosaic art, rock art kits. Like, that used to be an art shelf, but it's now for Bibles, and they've moved the art stuff somewhere else, but somehow they just forgot those. I was looking at this because I was looking for the ASTMD 4236 label that art supplies are supposed to have, because it came up in my live stream where I tested those paint sticks, and it's really, really not there. And this is another Crayola product. This isn't a small company that does small art supplies. This is Crayola. That is a huge art company. And see, you can see it on this one. It says conforms to ASTM 4236. And I looked it up, and that's the one that said that it's been tested for toxic materials. So without that labeling, I don't know if these things have been tested for toxic materials. So something to think about when you're thinking about buying these, and the age of the person that you're thinking about giving them to. Just something to think about, but you know, you do you. Some jumbo watercolors from Crazy Art, and I did see in that one store that Crazy Art is another liquidation that they're doing, so that's maybe why there's so much Crazy Art stuff. And then they had for $2, and usually these are $3, so it was cheaper in this store to get the Cricut markers. They were $2 here, and they had these cute little birdhouses. Oh, look how cute they are! And there again, I believe they were Park Lane, and they were just $1, and that would be so cute to give to a kid to just color any way they want to, decoupage, do whatever they want to it. If I find these again, I'm buying them. I talked myself out of them in the store because they were markers, and while I was doing this voiceover, I looked at them really closely again, and if I ever find them again, I'm buying them because I talked myself out of them at the store. But oh well, it is what it is. And they did have these Statler markers, and these Statler markers are really high quality, but I've seen them in almost every Ollie's at this point. So if you want them, I'm sure you'll be able to find them. They do also have foam squares, but in my humble opinion, if you want foam, go back to my very first video on this channel and look at how to get the cheapest foam tape you can get. You get 50 meters from Temu for like $6, and it's double-sided 1mm foam tape, and it's an incredible buy. It's a centimeter wide. Just, if you're interested in how to get really cheap foam tape, that's the way to do it. And here's the Singer scissors, $4 for these pairs of Singer scissors. All 3 pairs, $4, and that is a great price for scissors that are made for sewing. I mean, they're made by Singer, and Singer's just known for their sewing materials and their sewing notions and things like that. So that would be such a beautiful thing. I loved this vinyl. I did. It was so pretty. I didn't buy any of it because I couldn't convince myself that I'd actually use it because it's not my color scheme, but oh, I loved it. It was so pretty, that beautiful iron-on, and it was glitter, and it was gorgeous. And then we get to the end of the store. Like I said, this one didn't have a whole lot of craft stuff, but did you see the quality of it? These are flameless LED candles, and I have to admit that I read that as homemade. the entire time that I was in the store and getting ready to do this, and just while I was editing it, I realized that it says flameless. And this would be a perfect gift for a gift giveaway where you go and you trade off all the gifts. That looks very high end, and it was only $5. So you could get this for just $5, take it to your gift trade. The person who received it would probably be happy with it, and it would save you a little bit of money in this economy. That's something we need to look at. These flameless LED candles, not homemade, flameless LED candles, were $10 for the set, but they were beautiful. They had this the little winter scene that I showed you first. These are glitter, and these have a string light around them. Just absolutely gorgeous. So that's the end of this one. Like I said, not a lot of stuff. But what they lacked in quantity, they well made up for in quality. Massively gorgeous stuff. So if you get a chance to go out there and you get to score some of these things, please leave a comment down in the bottom. Please do subscribe if you've gotten any joy or enjoyment or anything positive out of my video. And I so appreciate every one of you absolutely ever so much. Cheers and happy crafting.